It really is interesting, all the outrage that just keeps on emerging with arguably 2020's biggest game release. Like, it seems every few days there's a new reason why people are getting upset with Cyberpunk 2077. But as most of you have already seen by now, a few days ago we actually discussed the then latest outrage surrounding Cyberpunk 2077. It all happened because CD Projekt Red announced the upcoming gameplay reveal that will come later today is only going to be 15 minutes long in length, and what will follow is some developer interviews explaining certain gameplay features that were shown in this new demo. Personally, I'm not expecting any groundbreaking information from this new reveal, as most of the details about this gameplay demo have already been shared by games journalists who attended E3 2019 and Gamescom, which is where this footage first was shown. But more gameplay is something that we all have been eagerly awaiting, and of course I'll be breaking down any and all of maybe the small details you miss from this new reveal, so make sure you are subscribed with notifications on for that, and of course all the latest on Cyberpunk 2077. But many were upset with the announcement that only 15 minutes of footage would be shown. Many were expecting the entire footage to be shown, like they did last year with the 48-minute gameplay demo, but CD Projekt Red has decided not to because of the massive spoilers within the new footage. Instead, they are editing the footage down in length to avoid spoilers, but many don't believe CD Projekt Red and instead have been pointing to some of the critical previews from journalists who were not crazy about the gameplay that they saw. So some individuals believe CDPR is lying and trying to show as little gameplay as possible because yes, the most trustworthy, honest AAA game publisher all of a sudden has decided to change? As ridiculous as that might sound, many actually think that, and now days later, things have just escalated with a new controversy emerging, one that shouldn't have blown up but it has, and many have attacked CDPR for apparently pandering and not listening to the majority of their fans. The one thing that drives me nuts with all the controversy surrounding Cyberpunk 2077 is all the misinformation that people spread around, and unfortunately people, they believe what they hear and see. Like last year around this time, tons of people were up in arms declaring CDPR as one of the worst and most offensive game companies because a now former employee tweeted a stupid joke on the official Cyberpunk Twitter account. Games media went insane and had a field day slamming CD Projekt Red, and many were saying they would boycott the game. Not long after, people were upset with the 2018 gameplay demo dialogue in which the character Jackie refers to female V as Jaina, a Spanish slang term. With that outrage, you had people accusing CDPR of using unfortunate stereotypes. Then fast forward all the way to E3 2019, things again blew up over an advertisement which shows a female model with a very large slong. Again, the usual crowd were upset and demanding answers because they view it as problematic. Games media couldn't stop and still won't stop bringing this up, but what a surprise that in a Cyberpunk game, the advertisement, like the hundreds of other ones shown in the gameplay demo which show all sorts of other raunchy material, is meant to reflect corporate exploitation. I would like to imagine that was obvious, but I guess it wasn't by all the people up in arms. It took CD Projekt Red coming out with an official explanation to at least eliminate most anger, although there's still many bringing this advertisement up to paint CDPR as transphobic, and games journalists keep asking questions that have already been answered. But also during E3 2019, you had gaming outlet Rock Paper Shotgun slamming Cyberpunk 2077 for having our white protagonist shooting a gang called Animals, which they claimed consisted of mostly black members, which as we later found out is completely false. Oh, and also might I add, VR protagonist can have any skin color, it's an RPG, but this hit piece article would also criticize the game for featuring unimaginative stereotypes, poor representation, and just a lot more. It was a garbage article which led to a very strong response from Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith, who defended CD Projekt Red and took issue with a white writer trying to tell him, a black guy, what to be offended by, especially being that this is his creation. What followed was Rock Paper Shotgun founder John Walker doubling down, blasting Mike Pondsmith on Twitter before quickly being ratioed and called out by many individuals. Eventually he would apologize, but my point with bringing up all of this nonsense is to highlight just how insane the outrage has gotten, especially being that most of it is misguided BS that should have been ignored, which leads perfectly into the latest controversy surrounding the character creation menu, which yes has been changed. I've received tons of messages asking for my thoughts, and I mean, this isn't new news. This was announced a few months ago, which is why I'm honestly surprised this is blown back up, but it appears all this anger has ignited due to this interview from Metro. Although, before we continue, let me emphasize this controversy is again nonsense, and I'm going to explain why, but let's first go to the comments made by Cyberpunk 2077 senior concept artist Marth Junkers, not sure if I'm saying that wrong, apologize if I am, but she explained, it's good that people give us feedback, and our character creation menu, for instance, compared to the last demo we now give you, has so many more options. For instance, you don't choose your gender anymore, you don't choose I want to be a male or female character, you now choose a body type, because we want you to feel free to create any character you want, so you choose your body type and we have two voices, one that's male sounding, one is female sounding. You mix and match, you can just connect them any way you want, and then we have a lot of extra skin tones and tattoos and hairstyles, so we really want to give people the freedom to make their own character and play the way they want to play. So yes, more customization, which I don't see at all as a bad thing, except that's not how many interpreted these comments. They viewed it as CDPR eliminating gender and not allowing players to be a male or female character, which is completely not true, and what's followed is tons of anger, accusations of pandering, and further misinformation. On Twitter, I've seen nasty responses like, I want to play as a male/man character, not a character who sounds and looks like a man. Voices and body types are not genders. In the game, I want other characters to refer to my male character as a him or he, not just V or it. As I responded to this comment, that is one stupid assumption that comes from absolutely nowhere, and as we found out today, it's completely not true. Someone messaged the Cyberpunk 2077 Facebook account about the character creation menu changes, and if dialogue was altered, and as CDPR stated, strict male and female options are still there. Nothing was removed per se, we actually added extra options to it. Players decide who they want to be. Furthermore, someone specifically asked if they could still play as a man and be referred to as a guy. They wondered if there was gendered speech, and as CDPR stated in German, no worries, that will be possible. But as I've stated before, a lot of people are up in arms about this. When I tweeted about this situation, I had other responses like, players want the male/female gender option, body type doesn't mean anything, and there's no excuse for that. This is a shameless pandering to a vocal leftist minority, and I will not be buying. It's just a really stupid business decision. There was no way that doing this was going to lead to any significant increase in sales, but there is a decent possibility that people won't pay a company that panders. You fail to understand that no one is against adding the customization, it's about removing the male/female option completely, not about adding the rest of them. Yeah, The Division 2 did the same this year, but we generally expect better from CD Projekt Red. On the official Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account, most of the latest posts have been met to hundreds of posts demanding CD Projekt Red reverse their decision. You have people saying, I don't know if any at CDPR will read this, but please don't remove gender. You've garnered so much goodwill over the past few years, please don't bend the knee to people who will not buy your game. I was looking forward to the game, but you wanted to be inclusive and decided the best way to do that was to remove gender, so now I'm not allowed to be a man or a woman. Congratulations, you just alienated me and 80% of the gaming community by forcing us to not be what we are. I really wasn't expecting to cancel my pre-order for the game. I was hyped most for. Too bad about the forced that thing. Let those people with gender dysphoria. And then if you watched my video from yesterday, the guy who was angry and boycotting over the gameplay being shortened is apparently boycotting again, saying another game not to buy. Already canceled my collector's edition pre-order. Yes, pre-order, something I don't ever do normally. What's so unfortunate about this situation is that this whole controversy is a reflection on just how divided people are nowadays, right and left. It drives me nuts because this is something that was done in 2008 with Saints Row 2, and there was no outrage or controversy because who cares? All CD Projekt Red has done is made it that you can fully customize your character. As a former CDPR employee said on Twitter, we want more customization in our games. Okay, how about we give you breast height and bodily fat sliders? OMG, yes, give us more. Alright, how about we unlock voices and body types so you can mix them however you want? What is this pandering? I'm boycotting your game, and that's exactly what has happened. CDPR just with most RPGs wanted to give tons of customization so everyone can enjoy exploring and playing the game however, whatever way they want. Additionally, what's even more astonishing is how people have a lack of understanding of how transhumanism is a big part of the cyberpunk genre, and all of this makes sense in a futuristic dystopian world. But most importantly, for those thinking CDPR was doing this to pander, this was already something being discussed before last year's E3 2018 demo, before games media even started asking questions. In an interview, Cyberpunk 2077 quest designer Patrick Mills said that it's too early to say, but it's definitely something that we've looked at. So no, the changes made recently weren't a response to the Outrage mob, but something they were already looking into. And yes, of course, with the feedback from E3 2018, they decided just to push forward and simply just now allowed players to mix things up to make any character they want. It's like giving a painter his brush and a completely clean piece of paper, I guess, or whatever. Make whatever you want. Now with dialogue, it seems most or all of it was recorded just with a he or she option, which means you have the choice of using the male or female voice on whatever character you make, which is more customization, and I don't see any reason why people should be up in arms about this decision, especially considering this is a game likely with great replayability, and changing things up, making different unique characters is exactly what a lot of people will want to do. As far as I've seen, the best explanation for how all of this will work is the following Reddit post. When you first enter character creation, you will have to choose between two body types, a male body, a female body. You essentially choose your character's biological sex, like Saints Row 2. These bodies won't determine how other people perceive your character gender, they will only determine how your character will look like in the in-game world. Then through the rest of the character creator, you alter it in any way you may like. Want a female voice and a male body? Go for it. Want a beard on a female character? Have it, and so on and so forth. But I think you get the point. Now, the one part I have seen from the Metro interview that people believe confirms CDPR is pandering is the employees saying they want to make an inclusive game that's fun for everyone, which I don't really know how that proves anything. This Polish developer wants to make a game fun for everyone. How does that prove anything, especially when you factor in nothing is changing with the experience? You're still a male character referred to as just that. It's pretty darn hysterical. 2 days ago, some people were referring to CDPR as an alt-right studio, and now there's a whole separate group, I guess, actually believing that they're pandering to the far left. All this proves is that nobody can win in this day and age. Someone will always be upset over something that shouldn't be upsetting at all. But one last thing about this inclusive comment, how about we actually look at the question, which again is another interviewer trying to use the misguided controversies to attack CD Projekt Red. So what do you expect the response to be? CDPR wants to make sure that this is a game that everyone can enjoy, and to answer that specific question they emphasize that, but also bring up the character creation menu, which now allows anyone to be whatever they wish to be. But yeah, I've been ranting about this topic long enough, and all I can say is the changes CD Projekt Red made probably were very simple, which is just opening up the menu, giving players more freedom. That's it, nothing else. CD Projekt Red's business development director also confirmed this in a tweet to Angry Joe, so yeah, nothing changes, no cringy dialogue or pandering, which is still hilarious even saying, considering all the criticism CDPR has faced over the years with The Witcher, which many screeched saying it was too white and didn't treat female characters good enough, and now Cyberpunk 2077, all the anger over various issues like an advertisement and certain in-game cultures. Nothing has changed because CDPR isn't listening to the outrage mobs who get upset over the smallest things. CD Projekt Red is focused on making a great game, and as we continue forward to April 2020, I'm just excited for another long, amazing role-playing experience from arguably gaming's best developer. Anyway, what do you make of this mess and the reaction? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down in the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, kind of like this until now, so do make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games, and again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos on Cyberpunk 2077, and I'll see you later.